Hi all. Right then, somebody asked me a question the other day about truth in mediumship, and I thought, Now I know I've done a video on confirmations, which is sort of like understanding what is the information that's coming through. When we get confirmations, it's like confirming that the information we're giving is real. But the truth in mediumship is a very good question. And I think what we got to do is look at it in different angles to understand it. I get this a lot of times. People just think, well, it's just true. You don't like the truth, Steve. But what is the truth? The truth is someone's perception of what they believe is the truth. Now, a lot of the times, the information that comes into mediumship is variable. And so it has to be, it's given in symbol form or cryptic form or in a way that the person can understand and share it with another person. But also you've got to understand that when you're giving a message, you have to try and interpret it in a way that the person can understand it. So what is truth when it comes to mediumship? Mediumship is about being the middle person. You've got a message and you're sharing that message with somebody, or you're guiding somebody, or it's a future event that might be coming up, just to help them on their journey. So if you start to focus on the truth of everything, spirit gave me that, so it's got to be true. But it's in variable form. So then you've got to really get away from it. Most of the mediumship and most of the teachings is about proof. But it's only one person's proof, There's been so many times when I've been given bits of information and it comes out in a bigger picture to the person. In some instances, I've given messages and Spirit will have fed the information that goes with that message to the person. So when we come about, if you're focusing on all the time being right and 100% accurate, then you're putting energy to something and stopping the flow of energy. So you're actually stopping the truth that's coming through. Remember what I said before about questions. If you don't understand what information you're being given and you allow your brain to kick in, the brain will add to the situation. And so then you have 50% message from Spirit and 50% message from yourself. And that's where the confusion comes in. To give what you get is very hard for people because we're used to analysing it. We're used to working it out. We're used to trying to understand. But the more you do mediumship, the more you find that you have a certain way, a certain picture, a certain saying, like a certain smell, can relate to your family members, can relate so that you can understand the message that they're giving. And they'll only give it in symbol form that you know as well. There's another secret to do with mediumship. So when it comes to truth, I think you have to take that, like proof, you have to take that off the table. Proof will come in the message that you give. If you're focusing on the message from the spirit world, that's the most important. If you understand that both the spirit world and yourself have emotional issues, and so the guidance is to help you to free you from the emotional issues, then you don't need proof because the message will be the proof in the end. But if you're focusing on proof, then that's when the brain will kick in and try and add to the scenario. So truth is I just see so many people going about, well, that's true, Steve, it's written down somewhere or someone's told me. But remember, someone's had to interpret it. Like a medium, you've had to interpret it. And that's where it can go wrong if you put your energy to it. If you put your mind's thoughts to it. So the truth is that you've got to be just the vessel. Like a postman, he accepts a parcel. He doesn't start working out what's in the parcel or whatever. He knows he's got to deliver the package to the person. and he does it in a way that the person can accept it. You get a message, and you've got to deliver that message. Now, it might come in cryptic form, it might come in smells or tastes or clairvoyance, so you might see an image, or, you know, and you just got to, through practice, you know how to deliver that message. But if you start focusing on always that proof or truth or whatever, you're giving energy to it that is not necessary. You're actually hindering, you're allowing the brain to come in. Because when the brain comes in, it will add to the story. So then, is it truth? Is it proof? Because it could be 50% of your brain that's giving the message. Because you've allowed that. Because you've focused on that you've got to be right, or, you know, the information you give you. I mean, I will ask the spirit world, if somebody's not happy with the message, and I will ask the spirit world, is that what you're giving me? But you've got to understand, like I say, it comes also in cryptic form. So if it's a future thing, they might do cryptic because they want you to experience something, but they don't want you to give you too much information that stops you from experiencing. You know, for example, you know, you're going to meet a gentleman in the future. He might be a friend of a friend, blah, blah, blah. That's cryptic. Yeah, it's giving you, it's not being proof-wise in saying it's a tall, dark, handsome stranger, and, you know, you will bump into your friend Sue, who will be the person. Now, you can get bits of that information, but what happens if it's not that friend that introduces you? Because of the circumstances, because of alignments, because the universe is bringing people, it will utilize whoever it is that time that's involved with that person to bring that person forward. Do you see? There's so many variabilities that you can't always be spot on with the information. And also, you're getting the person to focus on a tall, dark, handsome stranger, which means then they're not going to see the other people that come in, or the other examples, or the other opportunities. And so that's why it's cryptic. They'll just say, I'll have a person for the future. They might get the name, but is the name the person you're going to meet, or is it name of the friend who's going to introduce you? You know, there's so many variables, and that's why I do the confirmation, and I only use the confirmation when it's really needed, because most of my information they should be able to either take away or find out for themselves, or they can accept straight away. And so this comes with practice with the mediumship. So speaking one's truth is a hard subject. You're putting your energy to a situation, which means then you're not being an open vessel. You know, you're telling spirit world that it has to be a certain way. Well, you can't control the message, because if you control the message, you stop the message. It's like watching a road and seeing a car go past and everything, you know, and then stopping the car, you know, by focusing on it. You know, it's not going to help you. You've got to allow it to pass, and then for more information until the bigger picture shows, until the understanding of what it is, till the confirmation and the feeling, right, that's what they're saying. So truth is a very difficult thing, and I think it's something that you've got to take out of the equation. You will automatically show proof in your messages. You will automatically show the truth in confirmations or future events that will align with what you've said to them. But to focus on the truth is only to stop the flow of the message. You're adding your needs and wants, which is not the spirit world's needs and wants, or the person you're reading for needs and wants. And so that's why I even don't mention about proof. Because if you focus on proof, you're missing the messages. You're stopping the messages. You're adding to the messages with your brain. You're causing yourself to actually stop the flow of the energy, which means then there is no truth or proof, because you're not getting the message. You're having to add 3/4 to a whole sentence of what you're getting. And that's why I like when people say to me, but, you know, I've got it written in Bibles and I've got it written in this, that, and the other. But it was all, this was word of mouth. Like mediumship is word of mouth. You're receiving messages and you have to interpret it to pass it on. A good medium doesn't really try and interpret it. It sort of automatically knows how the message is to be given, you know. A red rose, for example, it can mean love. It can mean what they had in the coffin. It can mean celebration. It can mean a whole number of things. But to you personally, they will give it in a way that they know that that's your symbol or thing that you know that it might be just be celebration or love. And then you've got to give it to the person, and you get a feeling that what it is that the person is looking for. Are they looking for love, or are they looking for confirmation, or are they looking for proof? You know. I mean, I did a reading once, and a lady broke down in front of me. She'd done this wonderful funeral, went blank for a moment. Did a lovely funeral, but some of her family said, oh, I don't think Dad wanted it that way. And he came through and said it was the best thing ever, and thank you for helping me over, and everything was wonderful. She broke down because she had so much pressure, and she didn't know what was true and what was not, but she had a feeling. She'd gone with her own feeling and gut feeling, and it was the spirit world showing her what he wanted. But because everybody around you tells you what's true and what's not, and what's proof and what's this, that, and the other, and how to do things, you get lost of not listening to the inner voice, or listening to spirit properly, or allowing the brain in. So that's what I'm trying to give you with this one, or what they're trying to say to me, is you're just a vessel. You're just a middle person. And when you understand that, then you can become a true medium. Because a true medium is experienced enough to understand that they're humbled by that they're working for spirit, or they're working for the universe, or they're channeling. And it's not about them. It's not about your needs and wants, or what you want, or how you want to deliver it, or whether you want to prove, or you want to be accurate or anything. It's not about that. Because if spirit don't talk to you, then there is no message. So how can you have the gift if spirit can't communicate with you, because you're too caught up in your illusions and your wanting and needings, and your ego, and your everything that takes you away from being able to receive messages. All right, so that's all I wanted to share with you today, was that somebody mentioned truth, and I thought, oh, that was an interesting subject. I will ask spirit, and I think we have an answer.